Hey guys! Shit, I gotta fix my fucking camera. I'm fucking technologically incompetent right now. I was chatting with my wife, and
Yeah.
I looked down the clock. It's fucking 9:01,
Yep.
and I'm that asshole. So
Yep.
I'm gonna go off cam real quick, fix it, and then we're gonna kick this fucking thing off the right way.
You better fix that fucking hair.
Yeah, you got me there.
I got you.
You got me.
We're getting fired up early tonight because we got
baby.
Yeah, buddy. All right. I think we're okay. All right. Anyway, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever the fuck you're watching this already, dumpster fire. I'm Gary, and with me I've got Big Stove and I got Andy. We're going to have Raul. We're going to have a special guest later. Big night, Super Bowl preview. The works tonight. You're getting treated to a special episode tonight. Lots to talk about. However, Stove, how you feeling,
up,
buddy?
I'm feeling good, bud. I'm feeling good. It's Super Bowl weekend. Awesome guest tonight. Vincent Rocco Vargas of Mayans M.C. So for those of you that don't know, he is a main character in Mayans. So definitely looking forward to speaking with him about that. Big fan of the Mayans and Sons series. So yeah, and just excited to talk about his he has his own podcast. He's got his own Veterans Foundation as well too. So excited about all that tonight. But you know what I am also excited about is Tiger King getting the job done on Sunday.
Spoiling the picks. I like it. Andy, you're already a little fired up. How you feeling though?
Yo, my dude fucked the show up already. Nah, man, I'm elated. I really am. Happy as hell to be here. Not only because of the excellent guest we have in one of my probably top 3 favorite shows to watch. It's crazy. It's crazy thinking back to like I literally just caught up completely on season 3 like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
so
nice.
I had watched it, I had put it away. I go through like spurts where I won't watch TV for like 6 months. And like I watch TV, but I won't watch like television shows. So I didn't watch season 3, and then I just finished it, and then Raul starts talking. I'm like, that name sounds so familiar to me, but I couldn't place it. And then when he said that, I was like, fucking Gilly.
Yeah, Gilly. Once he said Gilly, that's when I knew who it was.
Dude, like the dynamic. I mean, we'll get into it obviously, but the dynamic with like Angel and Gilly, like that threesome they have there,
yeah,
is just probably my favorite in the show. But you know, I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see the opposite spectrum of what Stove said about Tiger King. I'm excited to see Matt Stafford in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
crazy how things work out, man. There's a lot of people out there on my Facebook account that I haven't called out yet that owe me an apology. I told you guys. I told you.
All right. Well, we are going to talk Super Bowl. We're going to talk Super Bowl preview here in a little bit. And then when Raul and Vince or Rocco are able to join the show, we're also going to go kind of in depth into picks.
They're joining us in about 1 hour, correct?
About 1 hour. Yep. We anticipate about an hour. So we're going to have plenty of runway to talk Super Bowl, plenty of runway to set things up for that. And then when they get on, we're going to let Rocco talk a bit about himself, talk a bit about his cause, the show, Q&A. And then we're going to get into our official picks and, the more in-depth of why Stove likes Tiger King versus why Andy thinks Stafford's going to get one. But let's talk a little bit about some of the kind of recent breaking news, right? It was a quiet Pro Bowl. It wasn't a quiet Pro Bowl week. We talked a bit about Flores and Brady last week. We've got a little bit more Flores news to talk about. So I want to start with that. Lovie Smith gets hired down in Houston. And, I have my thoughts and shared those in the group chat. And I'm happy to share them here tonight as well. But I want to set the stage just a little bit in terms of the Flores lawsuit and some of the considerations for Houston, right? Because the rumors for a few weeks were that Houston was going to hire Josh McCown, right? A first-time head coach, a guy that's played in the league for a long time, but as a backup quarterback for the most part, started a few games here and there, but never a guy that really, took the reins for a team. But he's got a really good high school coaching resume. He's coached locally and said that he wanted to stay involved in coaching, but he's never coached in the NFL, right? Despite being a clipboard holder as a backup quarterback. So Stove, I want to get your thoughts on kind of the entire process with the Texans, and I'm going to frame it with a couple of questions. So, considering that they were rumored to be ready to hire Josh McCown, because it felt like a done deal at one point that they were going to hire Josh McCown, but then they flipped the script and did some more interviews, and Flores apparently had a really good interview. There was mutual interest, which there should be because he's a good coach. But Lovie Smith, right? His resume speaks for itself. So I want your thoughts on one, the idea of them hiring Josh McCown, and two, Flores' statement after they hired Lovie Smith, and then finish with your thoughts about the actual hire of Lovie Smith.
So, first question, Josh McCown. Everybody's got to get their start somewhere. It's sooner or later. Someone that has never coached in the NFL, has been a head coach or whatnot, is going to get that opportunity. My issue with the whole Josh McCown thing is he's been a high school coach, not a college coach, not an NFL coach at any level. Now, he was an NFL player. I get that. Okay. So, yeah. And at the quarterback level. So at the quarterback level, you obviously know a great deal of information and have to know more than you have to know what everyone is doing every single play. So the wealth of knowledge and everything that he would bring to the table on that aspect, yes, or none. My issue with that whole thing is he's never been an OC. He's never been a quarterback's coach, anything at the collegiate or NFL level. So I don't even know why his name was even up there to be even considered for a head coaching job. 2, Brian Flores consideration. Obviously, I think we're all on the same page. At least you and I are. I think Andy is as well with this, is we all think that he is a good coach. Miami, I don't know what they were thinking in getting rid of him after posting back-to-back winning seasons after the dumpster fire that you had before with Adam Gase. And we talked about this too. We thought Flores would be a great candidate for the Texans job, but also to possibly convince
the second order effect
that yes, convince or sway Deshaun Watson to stay in Houston and be the quarterback for the Texans. Obviously that didn't happen. And, we've all seen the interviews with Flores after he dropped the bombshell with the Rooney Rule and everything else like that. He said he did inform the Texans that he was going to be doing this, but he also expressed that he very much wants to coach in the NFL. So third question, my thoughts on the hire of Lovie Smith. I don't like it. I think it's an afterthought. And I think Lovie is a good coach. What he did in Chicago with for all those years, and then obviously got fired, went to Illinois, so there, got let go this year. But I think Lovie Smith was an afterthought. especially after Flores came out and had the allegations against the Giants, Broncos, and Dolphins. And so Lovie Smith checked the box for the Houston Texans, but also, and this goes back to question number 2, part B, with Deshaun Watson, maybe having Lovie Smith there as a coach can possibly sway Deshaun to stay or whatnot. I think that there were a few other candidates for this job if you didn't go the Brian Flores route that are very well deserving, and one of them being Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
Still, why that guy has not had a head coaching job, we've said it for the past.
He has to be the worst interviewer in the history of football.
Something.
Like, it has to be, because even considering old rich white dudes owning 31 of the 31 privately owned teams, with the exception of Green Bay, like, he has to be the worst. Yeah, true, actually. So 30 of the 31 not publicly owned teams. So he has to be the worst interview, though, right? Because the guy is so qualified. It's unreal. I hate to keep making that excuse because we've made it about really highly qualified guys, and we know that there's an issue with hiring in the NFL. But Eric Bieniemy has to just go into these interviews and like shit on the table or something.
Well, and so here's my thing with the two parts here, and then I'll let Flint answer your questions. One, with what Brian Flores is wanting to gain from his lawsuit against the NFL, and what I think, I mean, I thought was happening, and I guess I was totally oblivious to it, was teams weren't letting other coaches know that didn't get the job what set them aside, why they didn't get the job. Well, we didn't like these answers or whatever. There's no transparency there. So one, I think that would be a great thing that the NFL incorporates, so we could possibly see and get into why Eric Bieniemy has not had a head coaching job as of right now.
I think he would love to be.
He would love to know too.
He's doing in these interviews.
Yeah. But two here, and as much as I like Dallas and Kellen Moore, if Kellen Moore gets a head coaching job before Eric Bieniemy, and if it's based off of offensive performance, absolutely, there is something totally wrong with the NFL coaching hiring process.
Yeah, for sure. Andy, what are your thoughts? Josh McCown, kind of Flores' statements about the Lovie Smith hire, and obviously the Lovie Smith hire.
Yeah, Josh McCown's kind of an afterthought to me because I just don't feel like the guy's qualified at this point. So, the same thing that Stove just said. Like, in a vacuum, where is this dude's
chops,
qualifications to be an NFL head coach when we have guys, including Lovie Smith, available? And I don't really have anything more to lend to it than that. From the McCown standpoint, the Flores thing is tragic. The Texans are saying, hey, his decision to go forth with this lawsuit didn't weigh on our decision to hire him. That's, they have to say that. There's no way.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not.
It's, it's like the same thing with whether it's true or not, with something like Colin Kaepernick, when there was teams like, well, we didn't sign him and it had nothing to do with his stance. Well, it has to have something to do with that because there's a certain amount of attention and a circus that follows these things. So Flores is kind of made his bed. He's taken his stance. I don't disagree with it. I feel bad for his career because I think now he's kind of fucked. And if he is given an opportunity again, I think he's going to be another short leash type thing. Miami's crazy. Like I'll never get what their thought process was, aside from the fact it came out that they were like, hey, tank to win money. Like, that's so weird. Like, why? When you have one of the best defenses in the NFL last season, you come into this season with what's supposed to be an improved offense, and then you're trying to tell coaches, let's tank. Like, that makes no sense. So I don't understand it. As far as, what was the third part of this? The third
Lovie Smith. What do you think?
Oh, Lovie Smith. I don't hate it. I think the guy's like just over 500 for his career, something like 80 something and 80 something.
And there is a caveat to that too, because he was 80, 81 and 67 in Chicago, and then he went to Tampa with a really, really bad team, won 6 games with Josh Freeman as a rookie.
Yeah. And, and he was part of the Josh Freeman is, the best quarterback in this class thing. I remember that for about 5 seconds.
He was right for like 3 games.
Well, yeah, because there was another quarterback in that class who was going to the Super Bowl. And there was another one who won a couple of AFC titles too. Yep. And then he fumbled the ball off a guy's ass. So, there was that. And Lovie Smith being the Bears coach, I think he's a good coach. I think he's capable. I think the biggest thing with me with the Bears record is a lot of guys could have coached that Bears team. That Bears team was good. They had a great defense. I just, it's one of those things. So I don't know. My biggest problem with Lovie Smith is going to be like, what is this guy's like 64 years old or something? Like where are we when you talk in terms of Flores is much younger. Bieniemy is like in his late 40s, early 50s. I don't understand this. Let's go old when there's young options out there. I mean, haven't we learned anything from like Sean McDermott, Sean McVay, these types of hires that have, worked out really, really fucking well for a few teams? I don't. Some of these teams continue to take like this perceived experience. I mean, Gary, you're living it right now. We watched it with John Fox for years. Like, we're just hiring these guys off of this weird like misconception that if we give somebody young, and that might be where the McCown thing catches some fire, but at the same time, I just don't understand the qualification there. But like these old guys who continue to get chance after chance after chance after chance when there's like young blood. Who am I missing?
Kyle Shanahan,
LaFleur. Like, come on, dude. I mean, Matt LaFleur is great. I mean, even a guy like John Harbaugh. I mean, that was another one. I mean, he's getting a little older now, but he's been in Baltimore for how many years? I feel like we're to the point where these younger guys are starting to make way more sense, but some teams, upper management teams can't get past this. Let's hire a fucking 70-year-old.
Yeah, and the game.
We have the same problem with our country.
Yeah, for sure. The game has changed too, right? Like it's not just these young coaches are these bright minds. They are bright minds, but the game has changed a ton, right? It's very offensive focused. Lovey's a very old school run the ball, play defense guy, and he had a lot of success in Chicago because what did they have there? One of the best defenses we've seen in the last 40 years for about 8 of his 10 years there, and they had a couple really good running backs there. Matt Forte was phenomenal. They had Thomas Jones, who's really good for 3 or 4 years for them. So they had some dudes there that could run the ball, and they had Cutler for a couple of those years that had a pretty good offense. And Grossman caught lightning in a bottle for a year when they went to the Super Bowl, right? So, like, to start with McCown, I understand, as Andy said, and Stove kind of agreed with him when he mentioned it, that it's young, it's fresh. And I think that McCown is a very well-spoken guy. I've seen him on TV quite a few times talk about the game. I think he's very smart. He's clearly a guy that's stuck in the league for a reason as a backup for so long because he knows the game and he can teach the game. But he doesn't have the NFL chops. So that was a weird one to me at the time, and I'm glad the Texans kind of got away from that because it would have been just more fuel to the fire, right? It would have just been an irresponsible hire that would have just looked awful again, right? The optics would have been terrible. But onto the Flores piece, and what irked me a little bit about Flores when his lawyer made the statement after Lovie Smith's hire, like, we're really happy that a minority got hired, but we're also going to say that I didn't get the job only because of my lawsuit. Like, dude, you sound like Kaepernick, right? That's my knee-jerk reaction to that. That was Colin Kaepernick when he was talking about taking a knee for social justice, but then making every single press conference about the fact that he can't get a job in the NFL. You can't get a job in the NFL because your last 2 seasons in the league, you were second to last rated quarterback, and I think you were ahead of like butt fumble guy. Like, for fuck's sake, guy, like you're not in the league as a starting quarterback because you're demanding $25 million a year and a starting job. You can't catch on in the league being the 35th ranked fucking quarterback demanding that sort of shit. It's the same thing I heard with Flores in that statement. I hope that's not what it turns into, but that's what it felt like when you're undercutting a minority hire by saying that. It's not good. But on the Lovie Smith piece, I said this immediately after. I believe, Stove, you were the one that shared it when it was breaking news. He's a fossil. And Andy mentioned it just a moment ago. Like, the game has passed by these guys. Ron Rivera, I'm living the fucking nightmare of Ron, old school, I can't figure out how to fucking put a game plan together, Rivera. And Lovie Smith is a guy that I think the game has probably gone past. It's changed. It's very offensively focused. It's open. You don't win games the way you used to. I love Lovie Smith. I've always respected the guy, but I will say the same thing that I say about Ron Rivera and Jeff Fisher and Flint. You mentioned John Fox. You can both be a well-respected head coach and not be cut out for the part. You can be a well-respected but also a bad head coach. And I don't want to say Lovie Smith is a bad head coach, but I think in today's game, it's not a great hire.
How did I miss 500 Fisher?
Yeah.
In my
he's my go-to.
He's
my
the
go-to
fucking barometer, isn't he? Like, he's the barometer of a guy. Like, if you say his name, people are like, "Oh, he's a good coach," and
but he's not.
Still mediocre. Just to touch on the Lovie Smith thing real quick. He's pushing 64. Actually, that's a few years younger than I honestly thought he was.
Yeah, I thought he was a little older than that.
The white beard makes him look
that beard is fucking impressive.
That is
impressive, but
that shelf, it's so chiseled.
Yes,
it adds. Well, here's the thing: the old adage "black don't crack" is so true until an older black gentleman grows a beard and it's pure white, and then they look 25 years old.
Gray.
Because Lovie without the beard
white.
probably
And
looks like
also
he's
white.
50. Lovie looks
sure.
50 without that beard. With the beard, he looks Moses.
Yeah,
like it's that white beard does wonders.
I want to throw this out there, and maybe it's just a kind of an immediate reaction and we move on, but what if the Texans hired Lovie Smith because it was the easiest way for the NFL as a whole to throw some shade at Brian Flores? We're going to hire a minority. Fuck your lawsuit. We're not hiring your ass either.
But here's the thing. It came after the lawsuit.
Lovie wasn't a candidate before.
He wasn't even a candidate until the lawsuit happened.
I don't even want to fucking walk on that ice. Like I don't.
Maybe we just leave that out there in the ether then.
I don't want to be out there. I don't want to do that because
all right, we'll move on.
The likelihood that it's real is fucking there, but I don't. Because I probably have a coworker watching this right now. Like, I told you, the fucking NFL's rigged.
All right, we'll move on. Alvin Kamara goes to Vegas and acts like a fucking tourist. You can't do that shit ever, but you go to Vegas for the Pro Bowl and you get arrested on a fucking battery charge. Flint, what are your thoughts here? What's with these dudes and not being able to hack it in fucking Vegas, man?
Dude, like, I don't remember what movie or show it is, but not everybody can handle Vegas. Like, it's just
The Hangover, man.
Hangover.
It was The Hangover. It's not a thing. So, like, I'm trying to read this because he faces up to 5 years in prison. We obviously know that the maximum penalty is rarely, and I I get a lot of people today that I see are like, oh, fucking NFL players don't get the maximum penalty. Most people don't get the maximum penalty because the maximum penalty for shoplifting is like 2 years in prison. And I've never heard of somebody going to prison for 2 years for stealing a fucking transformer. So like, serious injury. And it was after he and 3 others beat a guy unconscious. With reportedly 23 kicks and 9 stomps to the fucking head. I've said this for years. Like, fighting is one thing. Like, and I get it, Kamara's age, how that happens sometimes because I've been there. And fist fights happen sometimes. I've never understood kicking a fucking person in the head. Like, outside of the octagon, like, I've never understood stomping a fucking person's head.
You can't even kick them in the head when they're downed in the UFC either.
Right. I just don't understand kicks to the fucking head because and did you guys see the picture of the dude? The alleged picture? Holy shit, dude. He looks like a fucking backyard guy versus Kimbo Slice. And like, dude, it's like, come on, dude. Like, I understand that Kamara's a young dude. I understood that, like, Henry Ruggs is a young dude. I get this, but, like, you've got to not only handle Vegas, but handle fame, handle wealth, handle being a fucking celebrity. And you know what? There's a very good likelihood that it'll come out in the coming weeks that dude was talking shit. And maybe he was, but, like,
you can't do that.
Bro, you got to walk away. And, I mean, if at any point 4 of you need to beat up one guy and kick him in his fucking head numerous times, like, I don't know what the outcome you're expecting to be is when you start kicking somebody in the head when they're on the ground, let alone stopping them. I've never understood what you thought was going to fucking happen from that. Like, the skull is hard, but Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Quick aside, have either of you seen the movie Big Fan with Patton Oswalt?
No.
It wasn't a big movie, but coincidentally, I had never seen it. I watched
Patton Oswalt's not a big guy.
Right. I watched it yesterday, of all fucking days, on a recommendation of a guy I served in the Navy with. And in the movie, he kind of follows his favorite football player to the club, and the guy's like, oh, you were stalking me, and there was like a drug deal on the way, and they thought he was going to rat him out for it, and they beat the shit out of him, right? And this dude gets like suspended. So it was just a wild coincidence that I happened to watch that movie yesterday, and the news about Kamara broke on the same day. Stove, what are your thoughts about Kamara?
So real quick, to add to Flint's stages of you have to handle yourself as blah, 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 you need to add professional. You have to handle yourself as a professional as well. Try to make light out of it. I mean, I know it's not a laughing matter or anything like this, but I think Kamara just wanted to hit somebody in a game, you know, like, I mean,
it does make me laugh.
Yeah. Pro Bowl's
fucking Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Like, it's a joke. You know, they're playing flag football out there, 2-hand touch, whatever you want to do. It wasn't football whatsoever. And, you know, I think Deion Sanders said it best the other day in, you know, a quote that, you know, when they went to the Pro Bowl, like, it meant something to them. Like, they were going out there, and I get, you know, you had an extra game this year, blah, 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 this and that. You're also getting paid a lot more money than, you know, those guys were at the time too.
That's why, though.
I think that factors in on the other side too, right? That argument can go both ways, right? You're getting paid a lot of money, put on a show, but also you get paid a lot of money. And
did you see this? Did you see the stadium? Did you see the stadium?
There's nobody there. Like, nobody cares.
You're a few weeks away from free agency.
Yeah, nobody cares about the game.
Here's the thing.
The worst.
They don't hit it. We're at Brian
all-star style game.
If you're not going to play it in the middle of the season, like every other sport does, don't have it. Just get rid of it altogether. I think everyone would be fine with that. I think
give us a skills challenge.
Exactly.
Give us something cool.
Skills challenge would be fine. Yes. But I think we as fans, like, we don't care about the Pro Bowl. Like, we really don't.
Not Michigan State. We don't want to see that.
No. Like, it doesn't mean anything. And MLB, it means something now. Like, it meant something, but now, you know, home team, has home field advantage during the World Series. NBA, they have the skills challenge. They have the rookies versus sophomores. They have the dunk contest.
It's an event.
It's an event. It's a weekend
All-Star
event.
weekend.
Yes.
I like what you're saying though. Put that thing, give a gap in the middle of the season.
Do it before the playoffs.
Throw it somewhere in there. You can make something count for something somewhere along the line. I mean, but like everybody liked this QB skill shit that they used to have. Like that was always fun.
They have it, but it's like buried on Thursday night. There's no fanfare about it.
Have it on the weekend.
Move it to Sunday and make that the daily event. Make it a whole thing. There's 4 events and it's stupid.
The NBA All-Star game hasn't played defense in 20 years.
Until the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's still fun to watch though because it's not football. Like you cannot play defense in basketball and it can still be entertaining. In football, when you have guys fucking two-hand touching, like nobody wants to see that shit. But the NBA has dunk contest, they have 3-point contest, they have the skills contest, all that cool shit. They have the separate game, obviously. It's been the international, it's been the rookie sophomore, all that shit. Like the NFL can put so many cool things together. I mean, the game Madden used to have so many mini camp drills that you could fucking toss into and fandangle whatever way you want to be all-star events, and you could have a really good weekend with big time players, but they refuse to change.
I want to watch Larry Allen do 43 reps again.
I think
give us something.
Yeah, to go to your point there, the biggest thing besides the Kamara news, which was unfortunate news for the NFL and the Pro Bowl weekend in general, but the biggest news that I think that came out of this weekend was Micah Parsons and Tyreek Hill racing. And that was like, to me, that was the most thing that got tweeted or that got talked about on social media and whatever else. But
even that, Tyreek Hill didn't look like he gave much of a fuck.
You got a late start, low. Like I only lost by 10 feet.
I would love to see it. I think Stove, you're onto something earlier, or even Gary would before the play, somewhere earlier in the season. Maybe give some fucking prize money, some incentives. I mean, something for these guys to fucking go out there. Dude, give me some offensive linemen having a fucking pie eating contest. I will watch that. I swear to fucking God, I will. I want to see something entertaining that's fun. And, I swear to God, every year going back to the NBA All-Star game, or you can even say shit like the home run derby and all that stuff, people bitch every year about some aspect.
Sure.
But it's sold out. These things get sold out.
Yep.
The NFL,
there's
nobody gives a fuck.
people in the stadium.
Yeah, dude. And most of them had free tickets from a radio station.
Yeah.
It's a travesty.
All right, let's move on to our final kind of recent news topic, and then we'll get into previewing the Super Bowl. So, in maybe petty news, or maybe lobbying for a contract, or maybe just fucking them out news, Kyler Murray has bleached and washed away all of his Cardinals affiliation on social media. Stove, I want to pass it your way first. What do you make of this with Kyler Murray? He's still under contract.
I have no idea. This is the first. Right? This is the first that I've heard of this.
Oh, you hadn't caught this yet?
No. Ooh. So give me the background story.
So he removed all references of the Cardinals, all posts that have him in his jersey, all shares of Cardinals social media stuff that he had across his social media. He literally is not a member of the Arizona Cardinals.
And he shared his most recent thing was a shared thing from the Pro Bowl about him and Mike Evans enjoying playing together, which obviously sparks the fucking.
Yeah.
He wants to go replace TB12, it would appear.
Did not hear this news.
Yeah.
So just by hearing all of this, it almost makes me wonder if they've already had conversations with him about dealing him for some draft picks. Really, because to be honest with you, that would be the only thing you're getting really from Tampa Bay. because let's be honest, everyone on Tampa Bay is on 1-year deals and old, or it's one of those things where there's rumblings that Kingsbury is on the way out. Maybe the coaches haven't gotten their playoff checks yet. I don't know. I
like it. Andy, what are your thoughts on Kyler Murray?
I'm going full fucking tinfoil hat here. I should have brought the roll out. Here's going to be my take, and I just came up with this like 10 minutes ago.
I love it.
I think that maybe not the Bucs, but maybe I think there's other organizations who may need a quarterback. Green Bay Packers are one that screams to me. Pittsburgh Steelers, if they can figure out a way to free up some cap money, if they don't land an Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson. There are options out there that aren't the Arizona Cardinals, who, by the way, that stadium is dead set in the middle of a fucking cactus forest somewhere in East Bumfuck Egypt, not even close to Phoenix. And also, I think Kyler kind of sees the writing on the wall. They had that hot start, best chance they had probably maybe for a while, because now he's going to need a new contract soon. I think he makes like $12 million next year, and then he's going to need a new deal, which is going to tie them up a bit. But you've got Matt Stafford in that division now with a much improved Rams team that's obviously heading to the Super Bowl. You still have Russell Wilson up in the air with the Seahawks and the 49ers, who continue to kind of do damage and made it further than they should have, or than people thought they should have. So the writing might be on the wall, man. I don't know if it's going to be the Bucs necessarily, but I think that Murray's seeing these past years, and there was contract disputes. Like, he wanted an extension. I don't think he wanted to play the last year for $11 million and some change, and it's looking like he might. So, yeah, I do think that there's. Usually, I'm the opposite. Usually, I'm like, nah, fuck this. There's nothing here. Let him play. But I'm taking the Gary Freeze stance this week.
Finally, welcome to the dark side.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm with Andy on this in terms of kind of the contract piece. The Kingsbury angle is interesting. I like that maybe there's some rumblings, and maybe Kyler likes playing for Cliff and doesn't want to play for anybody else. I know that they have that pre-existing relationship, so that could be a bit of what's going on here. But I think the contract piece is probably closer to home. He's in that window for an extension off his rookie deal. They have the option to let him play it out and then pick up the 5th-year option and that sort of stuff. So it could be that he and the team aren't seeing eye to eye, and he's going to try to use this as some sort of leverage. He doesn't have a ton of leverage, despite the amount of leverage that NFL players do have at times. The situation he's in, they could negotiate on good faith. But I'm with you. I think he's lobbying for. Yeah,
I think 4. I don't know. Yeah, it's 4.
Nice.
Non-basketball night?
No, I got the Celtics Nets on over here.
No, I meant like
coaching.
Oh, yeah, no, I had practice earlier.
Okay.
We're good to go. I do, however, not to cut Gary off, I have 5 games in 8 days.
Oof.
Yeah, we had 2 reschedules we had to make up. Then our season's done, so I'm like a little over a week out here.
Nice. But yeah, I think we're looking at a contract dispute. The last person I remember doing something like this was Stephon Diggs right before he demanded to be traded. So if we see that from Kyler, I think there's going to be a lot of teams making phone calls. I
disagree with you on that one. I don't think there's going to be a lot of teams. I don't think so. I think, yes, he's a dynamic quarterback. He's an electric quarterback. But at the same time, it's what I've been preaching about for the past 2 years, and we've all seen it. Starts off good, and then towards the end of the season has that roller coaster of a way down. And he holds on to the ball way too long and tries to do too much. And, not every team has a DeAndre Hopkins who can just go up in the air and one hand that bitch. So it's, I don't think I'm with Flint on, it's going to be some teams that that need a quarterback, like the Steelers, Green Bay, potentially Denver, possibly. You know, but at the same time, I don't think the calls are going to be coming like everyone thinks they will.
I know there's a team in the nation's capital where the head coach has already described Kyler Murray as his preferred type of quarterback, right? Like a mobile guy with a big arm to throw in the elements and be able to run away from some of the defenses there are in the NFC East. So I do know that Ron Rivera is probably going to make a phone call. So there's at least one guy maybe negotiating against himself because fucking this regime sucks. Anyway, moving on from the recent news, let's talk about what's on everybody's mind this coming weekend. We've got the Super Bowl. We've got Cincinnati and the Tiger King bringing all that swag. And I have to say this week, it's been funny watching all of his old tweets surface. It's really strange when a guy has old tweets surface and you're like, fuck, I like this guy more. They're not racist. He's talking about pineapple on pizza and taking pictures with the prom king, who's a special needs, guy from his high school. So like the dude's just genuine, right? So you have to root for a guy like that. But then on the other side of the field, you've got the Rams, who have assembled a bit of a dream cast here and added Matthew Stafford to the mix and OBJ midseason and Von Miller midseason, and have put themselves in position to play at home. Second year in a row, we've got a team hosting the Super Bowl that they're going to be playing in. And you have to root for a guy like Stafford, who toiled and toiled and toiled up there in Detroit, and they never could put a team around him. He's got a lot of sorry, Flynn, hate to keep picking scabs there, but you have to root for a guy like that who's finally gotten himself into a position where he's able to succeed here, and it shows with a Super Bowl appearance. So I'm gonna make an audible here. So we've already had Stove made his pick, Andy made his pick. So I'm gonna go over to Andy first, and I want you to preview what the difference for the Rams is going to be if the Rams win this game. What is going to be the reason that they're able to win this game?
I think the difference for the Rams is going to be to do the things the other teams who have played the Bengals couldn't do. And that's going to obviously sound a little less complicated than it actually is. But they have to stop the Bengals from coming out and making second half adjustments. So we watched this Bengals team do this to Andy Reid and the Chiefs twice. Two times. They came out and they were, dominated in the first half, and they came out and they made fucking adjustments. Not just offensively. It wasn't all Tiger King. The defense stepped up. And, this team has the ability to do that. Some teams are just really good. Some teams start fast. Excuse me. Some teams make really good adjustments, and especially at halftime, you have that extra window. You have a chance to sit down with everybody, chew some ass, get with your assistant coaches and your coordinators, and you have a chance to really, turn a game around. And I think that Cincinnati maybe has been better at that than any other team in the league. And I think if you're the Rams, you're maybe a little worried because of what Tampa Bay was able to do. However, I think that they're going to be prepared. I think, Matt Stafford is in his 13th season. You have Sean McVay, who's considered to be, this genius. You have Aaron Donald. You have Von Miller. And speaking of Von Miller and Matt Stafford, and I'll throw Odell Beckham Jr. in here too, I'm so sick of this dream team shit that we're getting with these guys. This is not that. This is the land of the misfit toys. Because Stafford couldn't win games, couldn't win in the playoffs. Odell Beckham Jr. was washed. He was a cancer. Von Miller had lost a step. He was slow. He couldn't stop the run. And these three guys have come in and all played really fucking well for a team that was already assembled and established. However, the Rams did a really good fucking job of bringing guys in that they knew could help them.
Well, you
and that
think
they
about
knew they could
Jalen
coach.
Ramsey too. Same way in Jacksonville, right? They didn't want him anymore
Absolutely.
because he was running his mouth about wanting to get paid.
And you know that's I think who's the old defensive back they called in too?
Weddle.
Weddle.
Yeah.
Like you have guys, and Jalen Ramsey has kind of been on the lam in these playoffs too. I expect him to have a big Super Bowl. So I think the Rams are going to finally be that team who adjusts to the adjustment of the Bengals, and I think that's going to be the difference. I don't expect a blowout, but I think we should have a decent game on our hands, and hopefully, I mean, we've seen so many Super Bowls be boring as shit, but I think we'll have a good game on our hands. I think and I hope, for the sake of Stafford and company, that they get it done.
Nice. Stove, what's the key for the Bengals?
For the Bengals, I think offensively is getting Chase open, to be honest with you. The run game, I think, will be there. I know you have Aaron Donald, you have Von Miller there and everything else. The run game is going to be there. If you look at the Chiefs, the Titans, especially in the second half of both those games, that's when Chase got free. Whether coming on crossing routes or, out routes or whatever. And Vrabel mentioned it in the pregame before their game, was the key to stopping them is stopping them at first contact. If you can't stop Jamar Chase at first contact, he's going to make you pay. And that dude's fast. And as you alluded to last week or a couple weeks ago, he's faster than he seems. Like, dude has some speed to him. So I really think that if Jamar Chase gets free, has over 100 yards in receiving, Bengals win. On the opposite side of that, in order for the Rams to win, I think it's complete opposite here. I think it's Ramsey shutting down Chase. If Ramsey can shut down Chase, then I think the Rams have a legitimate shot at winning.
Andy, you got a key for the Bengals?
I think the key for the Bengals is to be hot early. They've been so good at adjusting to the second half that I think it would be nice for them to come out, put some points on the board early. Because I've said this before on this show, and I've said this over the years as a Lions fan. If I have a critique of Matt Stafford, it is he doesn't necessarily play well when he's down early. Now, people at home are going to be saying, oh, Matt Stafford has a lot of comeback wins. Absolutely. He plays well late in games. He always has. But when you punch him in the face early, first quarter, they go down 21-0, which was a commonplace in Detroit. That's when he struggles in the first half. Those games where he's coming back in the last couple of minutes are generally games where the Lions were in it or even leading into the third quarter, even early into the fourth quarter. They go down and he comes back. I think he struggles when he thinks he has to do a lot early in a game. And we've seen it this year, actually, a couple times. So that I think the key to the Bengals is to play their game, come out, do damage, put yards on the board. I mean, feed the ball to Mixon, feed the ball to Chase, Higgins, Boyd. They have the weapons offensively.
Raul, what are your keys? Bengals and Rams. If the Bengals win, what's going to be the difference? If the Rams win, what's going to be the difference?
So I think Stove's definitely on it, right? So Jamar Chase is going to be the big difference maker for the offense. I think we can all agree that despite Joe Shiesty, being new to the game, his first time in the big show, this motherfucker's going to be tried and true. He is going to be reliable. I don't think he's going to fold under pressure. I think Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey, that matchup will dictate the game completely. T. Higgins is only going to get you so much.
What about the Rams?
The Rams, I feel like it's going to come down to Stafford. Stafford has to be, he's just got to be consistent. He cannot, I don't think he's going to be able to come back from a late, like if Joey B gets fired up and they're making some shit happen, Jamar Chase is out there making plays. I don't see a scenario where Matt Stafford makes that kind of comeback. The defense is going to do him solids, but Stafford's going to have to fucking perform because none of that works without it. You've got OBJ who's looking great. You've got all the receiving threats you could ask for. Cooper Kupp crushing, and if you can't produce and you wear that fucking defense out, it's gonna be a tough day because the Bengals have a gas tank and they got a fucking gas tank. They can go and drag you out into the 2-minute drill and still fucking put a beating on you. They went and did it against the Chiefs. Like, what are we talking about? This is, you know what I mean? This team being in the Super Bowl should not, like, I understand they're the underdog, but nah. Like, they are not to be taken lightly, period.
So let me pose this question out there real quick, because everyone has been making the comparison to Joe Namath and just his swag about him, the way he goes about
he's like Joe Namath and Joe Montana had a kid.
Yeah.
He's Joe Cool and Joe Broadway.
Yeah.
Hey, we kind of skipped past this real quick. I just want to make a quick point. Flint, you were talking about these late game comebacks, right, with Stafford. And you know where else we've seen this? In Dallas. Dak Prescott's numbers are present in late third and fourth quarter. That is where his stats come from. And Stafford's the exact same way. I'm not even trying to argue anything. It's just an odd point or relation.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even talking about
as
stats.
a Dallas fan, I empathize.
I wasn't even talking about the stats. I was talking about like Matt Stafford
in general.
Comeback.
Stealing games.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a 4 pain meme.
I see that with Dak Prescott, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you see the same thing where, like, he's going to underperform until it's time, and then he's going to start getting shit done.
Right.
Or he's going to be more Dak Prescott than Matt Stafford, and he's going to not get it done. So that's...
Stove, your question?
So, again,
good transition.
We've been seeing all these comparisons to Joe Montana, Joe Namath, and everything else like that. What if Joe Burrow comes out tomorrow and declares victory? Like, literally, just like Joe Namath did. And they go out and win. Where do you put him? Is he past Patty Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and all those guys? Like,
yo, I'm gonna go super ultra high beast. Step aside Brady, dude. Like, if you go fucking yard on the man, come on. Like, I kid, but still, like that. I mean, dude,
that would be a top 5 NFL history moment.
It would be hilarious. Yeah,
he's not a GOAT, but he's the god. He's Joey the God at that point.
Yeah, for sure. That would be incredible, though. If he calls his own shot, that'd be great. So I want to circle back. You know, I like everything that everybody said, and I've gone back and forth on a lot of different things that I thought would be the difference for each team. And my pick has been, I've convinced myself the Bengals are going to win, and then I've convinced myself the Rams are going to win. And I'm not going to spoil my pick for later, but I've narrowed it down to one thing that I think is going to be the difference, and it's going to be the difference for both teams. It's Aaron Donald versus that interior of the Bengals offensive line, because the Bengals offensive line is really not good, right? But their offensive tackles have been okay by NFL metrics. They're like middle of the pack. That interior offensive line, center and both guards, have been like historically bad. And Joe Burrow escaping pressure is constantly him ducking under Chris Jones, twice in that game where he was just about dead to fucking rights, getting out of the pocket, making a play. Against the Titans, it was the same thing. A lot of pressure up the middle. Burrow's been able to show his ability to have a dirty pocket, complete passes, get sacked 9 fucking times against the Titans, and still drop his hammer on the table late in the game and put Evan McPherson in position to send him to the AFC Championship. So for me, it's going to come down to if the Bengals can stop Aaron Donald from being in Burrow's lap, or if Donald can get into Burrow's lap, because Aaron Donald is a game wrecker. If you can slow that guy down, the Bengals are going to be able to make some plays. The Rams have shown that they are susceptible to big plays. Jimmy Garoppolo, for fuck's sake, with the 49ers offense, has made big plays against the Rams defense. So I'm narrowing it down to that one matchup. Whether or not the Bengals are going to be able to deal with the pressure that Aaron Donald's going to bring in this game is going to make the difference in this game. If Donald comes out and has 3 sacks and one or two of them are on a third down in a crucial situation, it's a wrap. But if the Bengals can slow Donald down and keep Joe Burrow from having him immediately in his lap, that's going to make the difference.
I like the comment we just got from John.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being in the Super Bowl, but you need a better center.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Like, yeah, hey, they really could benefit.
That's fucking Joe Shiesty, son.
A new
that
center.
That is the Tiger King.
But you're in the Super Bowl.
Like
I don't disagree with him.
Like that's what you need to improve. That you've got a pretty good thing going. If that's
right.
what you need to improve.
The problem is though, like improving your center position isn't easy.
It's not easy, but we
talked about this with the tackle versus the wide receiver thing.
Yeah.
We do see more quality centers, I think, coming out in the draft recently than we have in quite a while. Like it used to be, you had like 3 good centers in the NFL and everybody else was like now there's the handful of guys that are really good. Like Creed Humphrey made a huge difference in Kansas City just by drafting that guy for their center position.
I just think a lot of times with the center though, like so when you have guys coming out of college, if it's not a skill position, it's going to be a lineman.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be a center.
Right.
It's going to be a tackle or maybe a guard, or it's going to be a defensive lineman, or it could even be a cornerback or a linebacker. It's never a center.
Yeah.
So like, what round do you get your center in?
Right. And we've seen guys go in the first. Travis Frederick went in the first round.
Right, sure, it happens. It's
yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, when is the first center going to come off the floor?
It's just an oddball need, and I don't disagree with it. They definitely need a center. I mean, I think they need quite a bit of offensive line help, but fucked if they haven't done it without one.
Dude, I mean, watch it. Just look what Burrow does in the pocket. Like it's insane. The escapes he had from Chris Jones during the AFC Championship game are like case in point why Joe Burrow is just fucking different. Because Chris
got them
Jones,
good instincts, bud.
Chris Jones is a killer, dude. That dude is a killer.
He's the exact opposite of Jared Goff in the pocket. No, he does. He's got good feet. He has good instincts. He knows when to turn left or right, to pivot. Like he's not necessarily like a rushing threat. The guy can move, but it's just like his pocket.
John, I am with that.
Are so good. I saw it pop up and I missed what he said.
He wants Cushenberry from LSU. He's with Denver now, so to put the whole championship team back together.
The whole team back together.
They just got to get Thad Moss off the shelf. And
hey, you know what? Public service announcement, real quick. Don't stop fucking naming your kids Thad.
It's Thaddeus.
Thaddeus.
But like I'm talking to the Thads that are just Thad.
Just Thad.
Or Thadric, whatever the white equivalent of that is. I don't know what the fuck it is, but like I've met a couple Thads and I'm not okay with it.
It's like when you talk to somebody whose name is fucking like Bobby and you're like, okay, Robert, and they're like, no, my mom named me Bob.
Yeah, my name is literally Bob.
On my birth certificate is B-O-B. No, motherfucker, it's
B-O-B-I.
First of all, it's not. Second of all, fuck you.
Oh, man.
Fair.
Yeah, Randy Moss probably gets a pass on whatever he named his kid.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless it's Thad, right, Raul?
Unless it's fucking Thad, dude.
All right.
So
speaking of which, what about Moss? What about Moss talking shit about Tyreek saying in my prime I would have ate his ass up or something like, or would have tore his ass up.
Tyreek's stupid.
Wait, Tyreek's stupid?
No, Randy said that about Tyreek. Randy said he would be.
Yeah.
He's
in
like
in a foot race.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what they're referring to.
No.
Oh, maybe not in a foot race. No,
not a chance.
I mean, what else would he be talking? Or maybe at the position. But defense? Is he talking about defending?
He's playing defense,
right? Right. I mean, in what other context would he be? I don't know.
Well, it has to be a foot race. I just saw Gary dismiss it so fast that I was like, no. I think it's Tyreek Hill. Randy Moss was fast. Tyreek Hill is fucking fast though.
Tyreek Hill is different fast.
Like he is a little brick shit house, and he's fast as shit. Like he's like who's the John Ross? That dude is fast as shit. Yeah. Couldn't run a route to save his fucking life. Yeah, can't catch, can't run a route.
He can run real fast in a straight line though.
Fast as fuck. Like there's
40
some,
yards.
Like Tyreek has that scary speed though too, because like he's such a fucking solid dude that it's like a running back catching that speed.
There's no good angle against him either.
Nah, he's a different dude.
We've seen dudes take what should be good angles and he just beats them.
Right.
Like Jason McCourty took a good angle against Tyreek Hill in the AFC Championship game a few years ago, and Tyreek Hill ran away from him.
Yeah, he's
Hill is an Olympic sprinter fast. Like that's just different speed. Moss was plenty fast. He could run away.
Yeah, no, super fast.
There's a highlight of him of the Cowboys, and like the dude has him pinned against the sideline, and he just accelerates and takes off. Like Moss was fucking fast, but
I mean he ran.
Moss was different because of the way he attacked the football.
Yeah, he ran a 4.25.
Yeah,
Randy Moss ran a 4.25. But I mean I agree though his high point was probably the thing that got him through, but the guy was fast as shit.
Dude. Hell yeah.
Yo, I want to kind of Tyreek Hill too. Like, not to get back to fucking Alvin Kamara and his physical abuse, but
yikes!
Like, I legitimately felt scared for Tyreek Hill's kid after the skills competition on Thursday, because Tyreek tried to dunk the ball through the kid's arms, and like the kid called him out for it in the post game or the post catch interview. And I was like, man, this kid's about to get his fucking ass kicked. Like,
about to get his tits lit.
Shit, dude. Like, that dude knows he can get away with it now because he's done it fucking 7 times and had the cops called 7 times and never had any problems. So that kid's in fucking trouble. Jesus. Yeah. Moss, I mean, when you become a verb.
Always help.
When you become a verb, you're different.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you get mossed, you're different.
You're different. Ain't nobody getting hilled. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody getting Tyreeked.
This kid maybe, but anyway. All right, we're waiting on Rocco to get set up here. I want to pass it over to Stove. If you want to hit us with one of our sponsorship readouts.
Yeah. So
and then we'll wait for Rocco.
Little 30-second commercial break here, brought to you by one of our sponsors, PocketPairClub.com. Pocket Pair Club, club number 26888 for all your gambling needs. PocketPairClub.com. That 30-second sponsor break was brought to you by PocketPairClub.com. Pocket Pair.
I'm not gonna lie.
Club number 26881.
I was vibing hard.
That elevator music kept me going.
That music was enjoyable.
They got that in New York.
Just download the app, bud.
We still don't have books in Texas. It's disrespectful.
You really don't?
How does that's perplexing?
Of all places,
Well,
right?
yeah, but
Of all places.
see, so casino games and
with people like Mattress Mac, Doug,
right?
Forget it.
Some
I
of the shit's
love that
different,
guy.
though.
He has a house like 2 miles from mine, and I pass by his house every day. He has one of his houses, and he is literally known for the best fireworks show on Lake Travis in Austin, because every 4th of July and every New Year he has literal deuce-and-a-half trucks pull up. He has docks and all kinds of shit with fireworks. I mean, it is a full-fledged show. There's hundreds of boats that anchor along the edge of Lake Travis just to watch that show.
Andy, what were you saying about casino games?
So, like the casino games in the sports book and then the fantasy shit is all like different entities.
Yeah.
In a sense. So like DraftKings or FanDuel say has all three, and you can link one account to all three, but it doesn't mean you can play all three in a certain state.
Correct.
A spike and rope. That's true, though.
Hey, John, give me a fucking break, bud. All right. Jesus.
Well, listen,
vicious.
I was bitching for a long time that I can go on to DraftKings or FanDuel and I can bet money on a fantasy lineup, but I couldn't fucking bet on a parlay or a prop or whatever. But if I walked into a betting place, I could place that same bet, but I couldn't do it on my phone. And now some states I know have a sports book, but you can't go play poker on your phone.
All right, we've got our special guest here. So Raul, I'm gonna bring him in, and you're gonna take the wheel here, buddy. Jesus, take the wheel.
All right. Well, we're gonna start this off right, because we have illustrious guests on this show, and we have certified badasses, we have professional athletes, we have amateur athletes, and most importantly, we have veterans on this show. And who better to talk to than an Army veteran? You may know him as Gilly. You may know him as one of the founders of Veteran. I mean, come on. There's way too much shit to talk about this man. Let's get it started, get it popping. Vincent Rocco Vargas. Welcome to the show, man.
What's going? Hey, how's the internet? Is it good? I'm like,
no, it's perfect.
Struggling. Okay, good. We're good. Trying to make this work.
Yeah, that gray in the beard's looking great.
Doing good, bud. Doing good.
I refuse to diet,
Please
bro.
don't
I'm gonna
kill
let
me.
it be.
That's the better choice.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Rocco, for those of you guys who don't know, did time in the Army. And I saw a photo, and I was going to ask you about this. Were you a DI or were you a drill instructor?
I think we're having
oh no, did we lose him?
Difficulty.
We lost him, but he looks happy as shit.
He looks
so happy. Quick, everybody pause real quick so I can screenshot this as a photo.
Capture that.
This is the thumbnail. We'll save it later. All right, cool. We did it. Who's a fan of the show? He is.
We'll give him a minute to
Yeah, so real quick, Vincent Rocco Vargas, for those of you guys who don't know, on the popular TV show Mayans M.C. on FX, he's also involved in the veteran community, not only being an Army veteran himself, but he's reaching out and has things in place to help. He's helping being a part of the cause. So I'm waiting to see if there's a text coming in. Got it open just in case he sent something. But hopefully we'll get him back. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think they have dial-up in his side of California, but hopefully he's got something a little better. I don't know.
All that Hollywood internet, right?
I don't know. Do they have to pay internet tax in California too? Is that maybe the issue?
I'm sure there's some sort of tax. The tax comes due at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, they'll find. Oh, that's what it is. It's riding all of our brains in the process. So,
oh god, here.
So I saw some.
Relax, Joe Rogan.
Still got that tinfoil hat.
No, I'll tell you what, man. I am in telecommunications, and I'm here to tell you. I mean, believe whatever the fuck you want. I don't, and I understand how the infrastructure works, so we're good. Now there's too many people
I had
who believe that
cold
shit, though. Seriously,
fucking,
insane.
ivermectin, and
Oh, the horse dewormer?
It was gone. It was gone in like a week. Crazy for a cold, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, that's because the Antichrist we know is the alleged Dr. Rogan has taken that and endorsed it, and that's why we had to take his podcast down.
Did they actually end up taking his shit down?
Yeah, they deleted some episodes of Joe Rogan
just some of it.
Well, no, there was a few. There was a few, but yeah, no.
He got taken down because he compared a rough neighborhood to the Planet of the fucking Apes. Like, let's not excuse Joe Rogan for that.
I did
for sure.
Anyway,
hey man,
back to the important part of the episode here.
List of things you shouldn't do.
Don't
another thing you shouldn't do
Africa.
if you enjoy the air you breathe is maybe not fuck with the man right here on the show, Rocco. How are you, man?
Good.
I see you're back.
Sorry about that, dude. I don't even know what happened. I just shut off the Wi-Fi. I'm on my phone now, but we'll make it work.
All right, perfect. Well, the audio is good, video's good. Yeah, absolutely. Aaron says we're not worthy, and I would be curious in what reference. So I saw some photos on your social media. Were you a drill instructor in the Army?
Yeah, yeah. I
Of course
did that
you were.
from like 2008.
You're terrifying.
Yeah, I've done it for a while, man. I was a drill sergeant for many years. I was activated in 2010 and pushed troops in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, for about a year and a few months.
Yeah, I just like when I think about the RDCs that I had in the Navy, I think of one particular guy being like the mainly, intimidating guy, and the other two just kind of being like barking dogs. And I just don't feel like you would be the barking dog. You'd be like the one I extra would just not want to fucking ever even make eye contact with and not even breathe around, to be honest.
Yeah, like can I cuss?
Yeah, dude, uncensored fucking send it, bud.
Good.
Send
I
it,
mean,
bud.
most of the interviews I do, I can't cuss, so I'm like trying
Yeah,
to
no.
let loose.
This is the veterans table. Come talk that shit.
So when I first get there, like the first 2 weeks, I hate everybody. Fuck everybody. Like I'm the worst dude there. Fear me, I'll fucking kill you. And then slowly they start to see the human come out a little bit, teaching them, training them, getting them ready for war, telling them my own life stories, trying to get them into it. And then by the end of it, man, I'm dad, man. I'm trying to raise good kids to be good at combat. And so that's where my heart is just being a good drill sergeant because I give a fuck. You know what I mean? But I give them the experience of I'm the asshole. Respect. I'll respect you. You respect me. But first of all, fuck you. Everyone dies,
Right. Well, so and for those that don't know about your service, I mean, they probably know you most from being Gilly, right? Who is already this intimidating fucking character. And you have to be a badass being in the MC. On top of that, the Hispanic roots, right? You got to represent that kind of multicultural aspect or whatever. And you had a flat top or a flat brim hat to that shit and put a uniform on him? Nah, bro. I don't want that smoke 10 out of 10 times. I just don't want it. I'm good.
Did you ever go like full metal jacket on him as a drill instructor?
By the time I was a drill sergeant, there's these rules, right? And so you can't really go off the deep end too often. But there's things I've done that would get me my hat and badge removed in a second if the world knew. And I'll tell you right now, I'm retired, so I'll fucking say it.
That's what we're here for.
When you start doing this training and you see these young kids don't get it, right? They don't understand the severity of what they're about to walk into. Some of these kids are going to combat within the next 2 months. So for me, I've lost men in combat, and I don't want them to take for granted what the opportunity they have from learning from me. And so when I had some knuckleheads kind of not take that shit serious, I made everyone in the room write their death letter. I made them all write it. All of you sit the fuck down, write it, say sorry, fix your sorries, fix your issues, tell your mom you love them, you're never coming back, tell your fucking daddy, fix all the bullshit. Last chance to say it, you're dead tomorrow. And I put on fucking 6 death songs like Letters from Home and fucking, the fucking Dixie Chicks, the fucking soldier. Bro, I had men crying, women crying, everyone's like, fucking
yes.
And I made them fucking put a stamp on it. address it to their parents or whoever it was, their caretaker, and give me that shit. And I had all of them. I had all these motherfuckers. I said, I'm going to mail these out. I never did because out of respect. But when they graduated, I gave them all back. And I mean, it's an experience for them, to me, that was, this is how real this shit can be, you know? And if you're not going to take it serious, well, let me fuck with you a little bit more and try and show you the truth of this.
Yes, there's so much truth to that, man. That tough love from your perspective, especially as the guy that's in charge, you know? And like we always had a saying about fucking fresh boots being the best boots to fuck with. Like it is just, they need to learn because we learned, and that's, you know, it's a primitive mindset, but it's there for a fucking reason whenever you're trying to create basically an all alpha base. Regardless of gender.
I think back to boot camp, and I was a knucklehead, and I know we had a bunch of knuckleheads in my division. I'm curious if there's like one story or maybe a personality that sticks out to you from your days as a DI that will stick with you forever, that maybe you look back on and you chuckle every time.
There's a few. There's a kid named, I think his last name was Drury or something like that. And he, you know, it's those kids that joined because they had nothing else. They don't have mom and dad. They're most likely adopted or their grandma raised them, right? Like there is no money. There is no dental insurance. And there's these two kids that my heart goes out to, these fucking kids, but they were definitely butt of jokes as well because they're so awkward and fucking weird. And you're just like, man, the fucking Droidy's always going to do some dumbass shit. But it was we had to do the UAs. We come back from Christmas break. We had to do the UAs. And this dude's trying to take a piss test, but he can't. He's nervous because I'm like crowding him, dog. I'm like, I'm on him, right? And I'm a big, scary dude. He's like, Raj, I have to poop. And I was like, and I'm like, come on, bro.
Bro, you're 10 plus up.
I'm watching this dude do his thing, and I'm just like, man, only this kid, right? Only this kid.
Of course.
See, hey, and in the civilian sector, you don't get that because military, if you have a piss test in the military, those guys that watch or go escort you, like when you have somebody that walks you over to the bathroom door in the military, they are called pecker checkers for a reason. They are
intimate. It's
right
an intimate engagement.
Barrel, dude.
You got to say leave the body.
That's sure.
It. It's got to leave the body.
Got to leave the body.
We got to make sure it's not a wizard, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I had another kid, man. And I'll tell you what, this one always makes my heart weak. He was poor, like dirt poor. Like the most money he's ever made is what he's making in his first and 15th. And on their first, it was like a 3-hour block of break, right? They're allowed to go out do the thing and come back. I think it was actually the 6-hour because some of them, they all decided they were going to go to a restaurant. And I said, where are you guys going to go eat? Where, you guys want a steak? He goes, oh, drill sergeant, I want to eat Steak and Shake. I want to have one of those steaks. And I was like, bro, they don't serve steaks at Steak and Shake, dog. And I felt so bad. He goes, well, drill sergeant, why do they call it Steak and Shake? And I was like, bro. And it was like all the drill sergeants in there were like, man, I wish I could buy this kid a steak right now. I felt so bad for the dude. But, what's what you join the military for sometimes. It gives you, it gives you something you've never had.
It's the poorest thing I've ever heard.
Bro, it's hard, bro. It's hard. Motherfucker want a steak for Steak and Shake.
My favorite.
Never walked in that door, bro. Oh.
My favorite. There was a guy who, whenever I was in boot camp, he was caught first night trying to bathe out of the toilet, right? And so it wasn't it wasn't some fetish thing. He just literally didn't know. And so we walk him over, and I swear to God, the first 2 words that came out of his mouth when he saw the showers, and this is just pillars with multiple shower heads in a circle, and you just kind of like train your way through it. You wash on this one, you scrub on this one, so on and so forth, and you just kind of nut to butt your way out of there. And he walks up, and the first thing he looks at 20 naked dudes and 30 shower heads, and he's like, water trees. That was a legitimate reaction. Water trees. He had never seen showers before.
That's gorgeous, though, bro.
Oh, it was great, man. He was so pumped. And even though he was there we were in the shower for 15 seconds in boot camp, 20 if you're lucky, he fucking loved every minute of it. And the water was hot. Like he didn't even know what that was like. It was insane. It was absolutely insane.
Oh shit.
So not military based, but I had a kid first year I coached basketball. Okay, this kid's 9 years old. And I'm telling him, hey, you know, you guys want to have this? Do you want to have that? You want to have the proper shoes? And the one kid goes, what about $5 shoes? And that like in the little voice he said it in, what about $5 shoes? Will just always stick with me because I feel like he must have had $5 shoes.
Yeah, you're like, hey, motherfucker, whatever shoes you want. Next practice.
Damn
Listen,
right.
as long as you won't roll an ankle,
Yeah.
pick and roll. We're good, dude. $5.
Yo, them Shacks went hard back in the day, and that's like I'll take that to my grave.
Bro, that was
Bro,
before they had them at Walmart, man. Now
that's
they
the
got
beautiful-
Shacks at Walmart.
the
Right.
beautiful story about those Shacks is how many people were able to buy those damn things.
Oh my God.
right?
Exactly.
Marbury's too.
Yep.
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 I used to just
And
sit with-
one. I mean, that kept you swaggy at a reasonable cost. God damn it.
That kept us wearing shorts and get us picked on today.
Yo, hey, I swear to God, I've still got 2 pairs of and ones, and I fucking wear them because ain't nobody saying shit to me about it. Because trust me, I've got the smoke ready. Okay, I'm in
Bro,
Texas.
if I
God
show
damn
up
it,
the-
it's not
if I show
illegal
up the-
for me to own a gun, motherfucker.
If I
It
show
may
up the
be
pre-
illegal for me to have a sports book, but I can produce a weapon.
If I get to practice with shorts that touch my kneecap, the kids are like, "Yo, coach, your shorts are long as shit."
Yeah.
Bro,
Bro,
it's not my fault you're
Look,
wearing the
these
John
guys are some
Stockton's.
fucking booty shorts wearing ass generation, man.
Yeah,
They
we're
gotta
back.
chill out on these short shorts.
It's just the
everything
heat.
is weird, bro.
That's
Everything.
where it
Like
is.
my son, I remember the first time he asked for skinny jeans, and it was hard for me. I was like, nah,
Oh.
dog. That's crazy. I said, bro, you don't want that. Like, you don't want that. Like, that's crazy. And then I think about me, bro. I was in
didn't
high
raise no
school.
son like that.
Yeah, I was in high school. I weighed 160 pounds. I wore 40s. I wear 40s now, homie, and I'm 290. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can wear all my high school clothes. I don't know what my mind was different. We all wore baggy stuff.
That big
Yeah.
boy life.
Jinkos
And that-
were in style.
Oh,
Hey,
Oh,
and-
fuck, Jinko.
Jinko.
Oh, fuck.
Hey, I
Fucking
gotta
fairways.
I gotta grab my wallet. I gotta reach down to my ankle to grab the motherfucker. Yeah, that shit was wild.
Yeah.
Jingoes. Jesus Christ.
So
Got my
speaking of clothes when you're a big man, Veteran, by the way, makes some pretty solid attire that does fit the big man well. So thanks for that as a big
No.
man.
Thank you.
So I want to talk about your veteran outreach, man, because I feel like
Yeah.
you've done a lot for the community, and you know we've talked about the early years, but leaving the Army, and then from there going to where you are now, show business and the outreach, and not to mention just how involved you are with sports. Your dad being a cut man for Keith Thurman, as I saw you were at the fight this past weekend, and dude, I
Yeah.
mean. We have to have a show about boxing, and
I'll
I
love
don't
it.
think, dude, we're gonna do. It's gonna happen for sure. So take me from the top as far as how did you transition out of the Army, and then from there, how was it that you were able to not only get yourself to where you are now, but also still be able to kind of lend that helping hand back to those maybe on their way out as well, or the transition is tough, man, and it's hard to explain to people.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I'm not gonna lie if I say that I'm still transitioning myself. You know what I'm saying? I retired last year officially retired from 18 years. Got medically retired, thank God. But I mean, I've been struggling with the transition from day one, and still there's things that I've been navigating. So I can't sit here and say that I got it figured out. I can say that I've been on the path to figure this out for many years, and I've been just giving my steps and what's worked for me to others daily, and that's all I can do, right? Like Veteran, it's interesting. I transitioned by staying busy. I had to keep money on the table for my kids, so they're the blessing about everything. And then on top of that, I'm competitive as fuck with myself, and I want to keep pushing to be better, right? Like, so that's what kind of the term Veteran came from, is like, I accidentally said it like to my boy. I was like, man, I'm just trying to be better, dog. I want to be a better veteran, like, and a veteran. And I was like, whoa, that's dope. Write it down. You know what I'm saying?
Lock it in.
We'll get to that. We'll get to what veteran is now later, but I've been on this path of trying to be a better person and a better father and a better husband, you know what I mean? And as well as a better representation for the community. I didn't want to be in a position to be this role model, right? Like, you get thrown into this shit because I decided to join my friends and do videos, and Article 15 clothing blew up, right? And all of a sudden people are hitting me up like, hey bro, how did you, I'm like, bro, I'm a drunk, homie. I don't know. I'm just figuring it out, right? And slowly, I've always been a leader in my life, and slowly I've kind of decided, like, well, fuck it. Why not? Why shouldn't I be a leader for our community? Why shouldn't I allow myself to be in this position? I feel like I'm doing all right with this. So let's just fucking keep going with it. And I've kind of kept pushing in the space of it. And now I find myself to be someone that people look towards, and a little heavy sometimes, because that's a heavy crown to wear. But at the same time, it's one of those things in the leadership position. Well, fuck, if no one else is doing it, fuck it, so be it. Let's go, And so I'm just trying to live by example for everyone looking on. But I take kind of a different approach. Like, when everyone focuses on the negative aspect of a veteran, they focus on veteran suicide. I don't. I focus on veteran success. When everybody wants to talk about that, I transition to this. There's a lot of people that do that. I mean, we've kind of done that to ourselves. We've shot ourselves in the foot by telling everyone that veterans commit suicide. If you talk to someone who doesn't know veterans and say, oh, veteran, they'll say, oh yeah, they commit suicide a lot, don't they? Yeah, well, we've done that. We've told that. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We've given the world that answer. And now our own veterans who get out of the military, who are lost, they think firsthand, man, am I going to be a statistic? They're not excited. They're not motivated. Not like, I'm going to fuck up the civilian world like I did in the military. Nothing. We think about the negative. We've given that answer to them. And so in 20 years of everyone trying to create all these organizations that are going to help veterans with suicide, hasn't helped shit, dog. Like, that's just the truth. And so I want to try and use my, I don't know, this kind of notoriety in a way of trying to push positivity. Even if it's just one dude, I'm changing that mindset. If I'm just flipping that switch for one dude, that's all I need to do. And I'm trying to do that one person at a time. In the end of the day, it's like, when you look in the mirror, like, if I was unhappy, it was because I fucked my own self up. I'm 3 years sober. In May, 3 years sober. Because I realized alcohol wasn't good for me. I was using it as a vice. I was using it as a tool to hide all my trauma, to conceal all my shit. And I wasn't fucking facing this motherfucker face to face. And so when I've learned that, it's like, that's just another step in growth, right? And that's just another step in the right direction. And so I say, oh, that was like, I'm still transitioning. I'm still here to tell everyone the steps that I've taken in my path. And I hope that, guys are out there working on whatever's going to help them in their path with trauma, with transitioning, with figuring it the fuck out. I think we've demonized the word transition into a negative thing, when transition should be an exciting thing. It should be a motivated, like, cool, what's next? You don't graduate high school and be like, oh, fuck. You grow up and say, let's go. What's next, dog? You graduate college, like, what's next, dog? And I say in the book that I wrote, I say, transition is something we've done our whole lives. We went from crawling, to walking, from walking to running. We went from growing up and growing hair on your balls. I mean, it's a transition, dog. Life is a transition. And if you've demonized it for yourself, you've victimized yourself. And that's what I refuse to do. So for me, what I want to leave for the veteran community, what I'm trying to give to the veteran community is to be that beacon of light of positivity. And also to be in a position where I've put up no boundaries for myself, because I'm a veteran. I think I've used my tools to put myself in the position I am now. You see me on TV because I've used the same things we've learned in the military: punctuality, hard work, care of dress, care of equipment. I show up and do the job. I work hard. I've earned this because I've trained at this. That same mentality, I just use in the civilian world. And I'm no different from any one of you on this panel, anyone watching. I'm no different. I just have perspective different, right? I see it different.
And you just look cooler too. I mean, if I can be real,
that helps. That helps a little bit.
Yeah, no, for sure. We talked about it a little bit on the phone, but I think my personal standpoint on veterans and the transition from active duty to veteran is there's two standpoints that you need to take. One, you being a veteran and recently separated, there are disadvantages, period. But you are to never use it as a crutch. We've never been allowed to use things as crutches, so you don't. That's the first step in the success. Regardless of how the system is created, you can't look at a disadvantage or look at something that you know is wrong and think, oh, this isn't going to work for me. You can't give up. It's you fucking head down and you move on. You press forward always, right? And the second school of thought is that you have to back and use your voice to change things. And I believe that using my voice and our small platform here, and Rocco, I appreciate you being on the show. My small voice, I want to use to say we need to create a structure, like a wean off of the structure. It's that simple. You're operating active duty in a very highly structured environment. You are not pissing without permission. It's things like that. And then that transition to what do I do next? And helping people figure that out. There has to be better support on that back end, period. And not only from the government, but all the way across, because I've said this from time and time again since the day I became a veteran. The only people that are going to take care of us is us. That's it.
100%. It's fact. That's fact. It's think about this, and it's kind of an interesting thing that I've come to learn since working on the Mayans. I work around several guys who've been incarcerated for many years. Like one guy 7 years, another guy someone like 19 years, since he was juvie, everything. And the similarities that veterans have with them is almost exactly, they're indoctrinalized, right? They're
so similar.
It's so similar. The parallels.
Fuck, we eat the same food, dude.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
And the other thing is that they're trying to find their identity as well once they get out, right? We are too. We've been told what to wear, where to go, what to look like, all this shit. And then you get out and you're like, well, who the fuck am I, right? And that's an important thing to discover. I mean, and I don't think you can do that by following anyone besides your own path, right? I think everyone needs to experience life and kind of dissect what makes them tick, what motivates each motherfucker, right? Because we're all different. I know what fuels me and its service to others. That's kind of why I've taken the approach in the advocacy, right? Because that fuels my soul. I wake up excited about trying to figure out answers for this shit.
And not everyone is going to feel that way. And that's okay too. But if you have the ability and you have the fire to, which, Gary and I could have absolutely just started a podcast, never mentioning that we were veterans, but we wanted to create that. We wanted to create that environment. We've, Stove worked really hard to get us teamed up with Folds of Honor and all of the sponsors that we do have. And we've taken pride in being a veteran podcast because we want to create an outlet for people to hey, if you're having trouble adjusting to the job, maybe, or whatever, having a tough day, jump on the show, come on and watch the live or watch a former episode. Fuck, we're 96 episodes into this one, So we're just trying to be an outlet. We team up with other nonprofits. We've worked with the Reverend Warriors. We've had them on the show. We've talked to Project Refit, which is another one up in the Northeast that we've talked to. And I would love to, continue conversations between you and any of your organizations and see if we can try to work together, because
whatever you want, bro.
It's all about making this work, and providing opportunities for our brothers and sisters to make shit happen.
That's it.
And to survive.
That's it. I love it.
In any way, shape, or form. So I know that we've got at least a couple Mayans fanboys here. So I do want to open we've got to open the floor.
Go ahead.
Gary Freese Sr. Come on, man. It's always good to see you. I appreciate you being on the show. So Andy, I think I'll pass it to you. I'm curious to see how this goes down, because this is hilarious.
Well,
I'm seeing Flint just giddy. Whenever I said, "Hey," "Hey, I've got Rocco locked in for Tuesday," and I put it up in the chat, and we talked about Mayans. And
the emotion was real.
The immediate response was fucking Gilly, and so it was.
I'm a fan. What can I say? So
Appreciate it.
in being a fan, and I'm more of a fan now that we've been talking. It's awesome to see like the real live version here.
Thank you.
However, like my biggest Mayans question is got to be the emotion I think that we see towards the end of season 3, and you've been asked this a million times, and this is going to be the Gilly Coco, the write-off almost that Gilly has with Coco, and then you ride in on the fucking horse to the cult. Like that's like real life in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And then you get to portray that with like, cool guns and shit.
Yeah, that was the value of that. So in acting, when you have a character, and in this instance we have Gilly, you have to kind of dissect what makes that character tick. And in this instance, Gilly, just by the grace of God, is a veteran. And Coco's character is a veteran. And so above the Mayans club camaraderie is that little extra kick of a veteran brotherhood. And we all know that, right? And so we established that really early on about both characters and their brotherhood. In the first episode of that same show, season 3, there's a bar fight. And if you realize he's about to fuck up his homie, he headbutts him. Then he runs into another dude. That dude turns around and tries to fuck with my dude. And like, I'm like, nah, motherfucker, I'm the only motherfucker who hit that dude. Right? That's the level of camaraderie and brotherhood that we established very early on the show that leads you to that last episode and shows like, above all else, there's a brotherhood that can't be, you can't take out of my soul. The character Gilly full-heartedly says, fuck it. That's my dude. I'll go to the hell with that dude, right? I'll go to war with this dude. And so that's what you see is Gilly says, fuck the club's wishes, and nothing can come between that brotherhood. And so that's what you see.
So that's not even actually the way I saw it. I don't think.
Really?
So no, well, in a sense, yes.
Good. Go ahead.
But like at the same time, I was so convinced as watching the show that Gilly was done with Coco.
Yeah.
Because it had been like, fool me once.
Well, yeah.
Maybe
Well,
twice.
that's what we were trying to do.
Right.
I wanted you, the writers wanted you, and my portrayal of that character and the emotions wanted you to feel like, fuck you, I'm done. Right? I kicked in that door. He's still doing dope. Fuck you. And when we did that scene, bro, I'm gonna tell you this. We did that scene. There's the last take we did. I grabbed him and I said, "Fucking done." And I threw him. And he was like, "It wasn't meant to be." I was just, fuck it. I said, "Let's go for it. Go on. I'm going all in." Bah, right? And he looked at me like, in the real Richard came out and was like, "Fuck," right? But the real me came out too, as in I'm fed up with this motherfucker. And I walked away. They said cut. I walked out of the room. I went to my room and I ended up crying. And remember, I love what I do for a living because I genuinely care about theater, acting, and I train at this extensively. So if you remember, there's a behind the scenes video that Mayans did, and it talked about a small part of it. I had a friend, a ranger, who died from an OD of pain meds. And it was fucking 10 years of this that I knew he had it, and I didn't have the balls to say anything, dog. Never stepped in. He was a sergeant. I was a specialist. He got out. I still get the calls of the slurred speech, all the shit, right? And then in 2000, it had to be 2012, 12-ish, he calls me, maybe 11, somewhere around that time. He calls me and goes, "Hey, bro, quit the fucking Border Patrol. Join me in with Blackwater or Triple Canopy or something. Like, just join me." And I'm like, and at that time, I'm like, fuck it. Like, I miss war. You know what I mean? I said, let's talk next week. I'm going to figure this out. He died a couple days later. from the OD. And when he was on the phone, I heard the voice. I knew he was still doing it, bro. I mean, he was doing it so bad that he was ordering it to my house, to his house, to another friend's house. And we're all just turning a blind eye because I've never dealt with something like this. I'm a specialist. He's a sergeant. I had so much respect for the dude. And so what I did for my character Gilly was I kind of held a lot of that emotions of what I wish I did. And in that moment, I said it to him.
That's a way more awesome response than.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
this is the most
I
fucking
expected to
amazing
get- I-
interview
honestly, I
I've
mean,
ever
that's-
even been a part. I've ever even seen.
I
dude.
figured the
Fuck.
response was going to be
This is amazing.
great, and that was just like exceeded expectations. I appreciate it. I mean, that's,
Yeah, and thank you
that's-
for the story too, because that I mean the backstory behind that alone, that one little snippet, that one moment in the
out of
show.
control.
Fuck.
Well, it just puts
Goosebumps.
it all into
literally.
perspective, and like it's personable now,
Right.
it's especially to you, Rocco. Like that moment, that scene, like it was almost maybe, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth here, but maybe somewhat of full circle.
Yeah,
maybe some closure too.
Yeah, still
Maybe.
think of it this way.
Could have been
The reason
therapeutic
why I
for
went
sure.
to my room and cried was because I wish I said that to him when I had the opportunity.
Yeah,
and it
you
was-
kind of unburdened.
Right. It was almost my way of getting it off of my own chest. It was therapy, dog. You saw it firsthand. And then I
Oh,
went to my room and fucking let it out even more.
this is yes. I could have never envisioned that this interview would go this way ever.
So I got a
I'm totally
question.
with this.
And it doesn't, it's not Mayan related, but in real life, do you ride motorcycles?
I owned a motorcycle for about a year and a half, 2 years. I didn't ride it as much as I wanted for two reasons. I've had a few friends recently pass away, and my wife is just a little bit more strict about like that, understandably.
Yeah.
But when I did ride, it was usually with my wife to go get breakfast or dinner, right? Like I wasn't like, I don't like
Yeah,
to
you were
participate in
cruising.
these big old rides with people because I just feel like it's risking like everything I've
You
worked
just
so
don't
hard
know how
for.
everyone else rides too at the same.
Right.
Yeah, you had the Sunday stroller.
Yeah, I just like to
Yeah.
cruise with my lady and have a breakfast or a dinner and go home, you know?
Yeah.
And every time we get on that bike, it's a risk that we lose everything. So, you know, as much as people like, oh, I love riding, I'm sitting there thinking like, did I just ruin everything? You know? So
Yeah.
I can't get out of my head that thought. So it's never this, it's fun, but it's also like, fuck, I'm on edge the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and kind of the same way with me and my family. I sold my bike about a year ago or so now, and it was one of those things where couldn't ride as much. You know, with three kids under the age of 6, and then the wife liked to ride with me, but at the same time, like you just said, if we go out on a ride together,
Yeah.
we're risking it all, and possibly 3 kids, being without parents.
3
Yeah.
kids under 6. Get off her, Stove.
Get cable, bro.
Jesus, dude, you fucking pull out games bronze medalist and shit, dude.
It's so bad.
Jesus, can't even pull out of your driveway.
I did real quick have another one that's going to seem crazy now, knowing
You're good.
Rocco's past here is I've often seen things, YouTube, wherever, of real life bikers pressing people who portray bikers. Have you ever had anything like that happen? Probably
No.
not, because you're a badass.
Yeah, no. I'm bigger than
He's
most
real
dudes.
with the shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, you were an
Fuck that
intimidating
shit,
looking
Rocco.
fella. So
No, I mean, they respect we're actors. I'm not a motorcycle. I'm not an MC. I'm an actor. I play one on TV, and I also respect that as well. I respect that culture. I mean, I don't give a shit about anyone's life choices. That's theirs, right? Like they chose to be an MC. Cool. There's some cool things about it. There's a lot of veterans in every organization out there. There's a lot of veteran organizations. So I understand the attraction to it, and I think it's awesome. It's not for me. you know, and I'm just an actor on TV, and that's the reality of it. And they respect that as much. I mean, we do a lot of charity rides and stuff like that, and with MCs, and just to kind of say appreciate the culture. It's given us a platform, right? I think a lot of the people who watch us, they want to see how stupid we make MCs look because it's a dramatic show, right? There's drama, you know. There's no MC out there that wants to claim like we're replicating them, because we have all kinds of weird shit on the show that nobody wants the drama. So, you know, I think we know and they know, and I think we keep that respect level as good as we can to know that we're actors, man, and that's all I ever be.
Old Kurt Sutter does not lack the drama.
Right,
it really doesn't.
I saw flip that instead of the confrontational piece. Do you guys, you know, on the show, the actors, the writers, the director, do you guys have any sort of interaction with MCs to get it right? To maybe consult and say, this is how we portray this and that?
I don't know if there's consultants on this show. I mean, I feel like I would know, or I should know. And from what I know, there's not. But, you know, as an actor, I mean, I would be stupid to go into this not knowing, right? So I've done a lot of my own research. I've read books. I have an FBI manual on the Hells Angels. I have like all kinds of weird stuff that I've just acquired and learned and read, you know. And, you know, my father rides for the Fire Hogs, which is I don't know, it's not an MC. It's like a riding. I don't even know what the heck it is, right? It's just firefighters, you know? And so I've been around it for a long time. I understand it for the most part. There's a Ranger MC called the Killer Man Sons. And so a lot of those are guys I've served with and went to combat with. So I've had the fortunate opportunity to have dinner with these guys and ask questions and see their camaraderie with each other. And it's gorgeous, dude. It's fucking gorgeous, dude. You know what I mean? And it's definitely attractive to see that brotherhood. That's like, man, it feels like war. You know what I mean? It feels like, you know. So yeah, I've done my studies, and I know everyone else has too.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Happy used to be in Hell's Angels before.
I don't know. I've heard that. I mean, I've never confirmed it myself directly, but yeah, I've heard the same thing. Like Sons was a different. Beast.
Yeah, but he does make some appearances in Mayans as well too, I believe.
Yes.
He? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
If anybody's going to be, it's Happy.
Oh, for sure, dude.
He has to fit my profile.
What does that mean?
Like Happy is like a scary fucking dude.
He's a massive person. He's like 6'3".
Is he that tall?
Yes, dude.
No shit.
God.
Like he is.
He's a good sized dude.
Even
from makes
Sons,
it so
even
much
from
scarier.
Sons, like, he
Yeah.
was the most like. I don't want to say hollow because I feel like there was so much depth to his character, but he was like the guy. If I were to stand face to face with him, there was nothing there. Like I felt like he could kill me in a second.
You'd be standing at his chest. So
Yeah,
For sure.
well, I mean, I'm 6'1", so I don't understand that.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
he's definitely
He always seemed to be the most
authentic
to me. Yes, I mean that's the exact word. And I never knew what you just said, Stove. Like I'd never heard that.
Yeah, no. What Stove said. I mean, like I said, I don't want to say that because I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what information is already out there. I've heard very similar.
That's actually
well. I know.
Awesome.
I know for sure that the Suns, like I've seen a couple like behind the scenes clips and stuff where they've gotten some kind of nods, right, from MCs and stuff like that. I've never heard of any kind of like they've been checked. I've definitely heard the like, hey, you know, respect for shining light on the MC culture, and that was kind of all I know about it. But so Rocco, I want to get to the most important part of our show. We're 96 episodes into these bad boys, and we dedicate every single episode to a fallen service member. And I want to give you the floor. We're going to play a quick clip because we've got Folds of Honor as our sponsor for the Salute to Service part of our segment. So I will absolutely be pumped to know who we're gonna dedicate this episode to, and I appreciate you offering up somebody to dedicate it to.
Yeah. And so now you ready?
I think we're gonna play the clip first, Stove.
Okay. Hey-o.
You got it, man. Floor is yours.
All right. So Devin K. Pregero was killed in training December 16th, 2004. 2004 or 5. So he was a friend of mine from basic training to airborne. We wanted to be in Ranger Battalion together. And one weekend in RIP, Ranger Indoctrinal Program, the first weekend before the PT test, we went out. We got into a fight with some real Rangers, and we ran. And that Monday morning, they couldn't find his ID card, so they recycled him. And they heard about the confrontation that happened. And so I ended up seeing him after my first deployment, and we were set up to have dinner. And he was killed the night before in training. And one of those unfortunate things that happen when training for combat and at a, in a unit like mine. And so I would say let's salute to Devin thank you for his service. He was an incredible Ranger.
We have the watch.
We have the watch.
And that is the toughest transition we have in our episodes. And unfortunately, we have to have 96 of them. So I want to get to the probably the hottest topic coming up. And you've got some kind of LA roots right now. You know, I know you said you came up a Raiders fan. I know you're not super heavily involved in the NFL world, but I mean, you got to root for the home team, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to root for anyone, it's going to be LA, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I catch you with the Dodgers hat on the gram. I see you.
Yeah, I always have it on me. I don't know where it's at, but I went to a LA Rams game last season, and it was dope, dude. And it was cool to see all the LA people like welcome him in because like LA hadn't had a team in a minute. I grew up in the Raider era, and my dad stayed with the Raiders. My dad's still a Raider, right? You know what I mean? And I've kind of been lost in limbo for a long time. So that's why I'm like, I don't really watch the game too often. I watch the championship game for everything. And so I'm going for the Rams, dog.
The LA to Oakland to LA to Oakland to LA to Oakland era.
Yeah, that's tough. That's real tough.
Such a crazy fucking era.
Yeah.
It is interesting, Rocco, you mentioned it is interesting to see LA embrace this iteration of football in LA because the reason that the Raiders and Rams left and then the Raiders kind of circled, all, across California there back and forth is because in past iterations, they haven't gotten the support from the fans. And this past weekend, we had a NASCAR event at the LA Coliseum, and that place was packed.
It was packed
to the brim for a NASCAR race. And I don't know if you see it or feel it there, but it feels like LA is becoming a bigger sports town than just the Staples Center.
Yeah.
It feels like sporting events are becoming actual events there, not just ways to get your face on TV courtside at a Lakers game.
Right.
Yeah,
it's always been a baseball city.
Well, I've noticed baseball getting bigger. I've noticed a lot of people being this big baseball world. And I'm like, I've been here for a minute. All of a sudden, these new fans.
Yeah.
It's cool to see. Definitely like the Dodger pride, but I think, we were all on the Laker, train for so long because it was what a fun ride that was. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The Dodgers it was rough for a minute, bro. Like we hadn't won nothing, and all of a sudden we start winning again. You start seeing all these people come out the woodworks, like, oh, Dodgers, And so it's always fun to be on the winning team, and the crowd.
Everybody likes a winner.
Everybody likes a winner, bro. And I would almost argue that there's something to the effect of why the Raiders didn't have the same support. Man, you couldn't buy a Raider jersey where I'm from, dog. You'd get shot. You know what I'm saying? Gangbangers wore Raiders.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to support a team. You can't even wear their shit. You go to a game, you're going to get jumped. You go to a game, you might get It was this really weird time, bro. The 90s was a gang-infested world. And to wear the Rams, bro, that's not a threat to anybody in any gang. That yellow is so
LA.
like, right? It's different.
You soft as hell.
It's different. Like I would wear a Rams jersey today. I still wouldn't wear Raiders where I live. I just not comfortable with the potential of someone saying, "Yo, dog, what's up?"
Thanks, NWA.
Yeah,
Rocco,
let's be honest. You don't live in Compton, dog. Calm down.
No.
You know.
Thanks, Ice Cube.
No, where I live, there's a lot of Mexican, Hispanic, groups. But
yeah,
I grew up with most of these dudes.
You know what, man? Just keep your socks low, because you know what they say: the higher the socks, the downer the fool. You know what I mean? So,
shit.
Shout out Foo's Gone Wild, man.
Yep.
Dude. Oh, that's one of the best Instagrams on the market.
Period. Forever, dude. It's
oh my God, forever. Hits my soul every post.
Am I missing something?
Yeah, I mean, get on.
I gotta go to this now.
I'm sorry,
what
Caucasian. Get on. Foo's Gone Wild.
Here we go.
I don't think they'll let you in.
Bro, I don't even. I think your credit score is too high, dog. Yeah, no, for sure. You've been let off with too many warnings every time you get pulled over.
Here we go.
No, hit up Foo's Gone Wild on Instagram. That is one of the most popping things on earth. Period. It is hilarious. All right, so you're with the Rams. Have we gone over all of the picks for everyone else?
We saved it.
All right, we saved it just for last. Flint,
we were waiting.
Let's go to you. Who is your Super Bowl pick?
Oh man, I got the Rams, man.
Yeah,
I gotta go with Matty Stafford.
Longtime Lions fan.
Yeah, as a Lions fan, I mean, I gotta wish the man well. Also, I have to say, I told you so to fucking everybody out there. I've been telling you so. He's been that dude. He's a killer. I think the Bengals, Joe Burrow, man, these guys are dangerous. They're gonna be dangerous. They've got the weapons. I do, however, believe their Achilles heel, which is going to be their offensive line, is going to be where the Rams kind of get that stranglehold. Aaron Donald is, probably the most intimidating dude in the NFL.
Yeah. I'll say this.
And then you added Von Miller.
I think that's where they're going to get over the edge a little bit. Added the fact that you got Cooper Kupp, you've got Odell Beckham Jr., you've got that high-power offense.
Have you seen the TikToks, bro? The Bengals, bro. There's like 3 families that like the dads who are about to pass or have passed were Bengals fans and like emotional, dude. So I mean, bro,
those are tough.
I would almost want the Bengals to win to see those damn TikToks popping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just
it's one of those
see
things
a 90-year-old woman making it clap for her husband because the Bengals got a Super Bowl.
Any other year, I would love to root for the Bengals. Like if it hadn't been Matt Stafford, like
if it was the Niners and Bengals, you'd be rooting for the
I mean anybody else in the NFC.
This is definitely the most likable Super Bowl of all time.
I'm invested on that AFC team. I gotta go for my guy. I mean,
of course you do. As a Lions fan, you are obligated to back Stafford to death. Period. That is a lifetime ban for you.
All day.
Gary?
Yeah, I
no fucking waffling here. No waffling.
Yeah, dude,
I did it for a week.
Fucking
for a week. I'm not going to do it tonight, but
Christ.
I've been back and forth a lot on this. I mentioned what the difference for me was going to be whether or not the Bengals were going to be able to keep Aaron Donald out of Joe Burrow's jersey. I'm going Bengals, though. I believe in the magic of Joe Burrow. I think that he has the ability to make plays in a dirty pocket. And Jamar Chase is that dude who can get open and make people miss in a heartbeat. They have some crazy chemistry. There's something magical going on with Joe Burrow right now. I said it before the AFC Championship game to my brother. I said, I'm picking the Bengals. It feels like a done deal. And I won money on the Bengals in the AFC Championship game, by the way. I put my money where my mouth was. There's something magical going on. Give me Joe Burrow. We're lighting cigars after the game.
Joe Shiesty.
We're going to get the first Heisman national champion to win a Super Bowl in the history of the game. Joe Burrow by a field goal. Evan McPherson,
the leg.
Hanging brain on everybody. He's going to pass Adam Vinatieri for the record for an individual playoffs. Give me that big dick energy. Bang,
Rocco.
by a bucket.
You wrong, though.
Gary, you said something so dope. He makes plays in the dirty pocket. I'm like, yes.
Yes,
I'll watch
dude.
that all day. I don't care what. It don't even
dude.
have to be football. You make his plays in the dirty pocket, son. Count me in.
Yes.
We out here.
Oh,
Best quote of the night.
Yes.
For sure. Plays in dirty pockets. Speaking of dirty pockets, Stove, what do you got?
I think it's no surprise here. I love Stafford. You know, Flint. You can't go wrong if the guy wins. I'll be happy for him. Be happy for the Rams. But let's make no mistake about this. Tomorrow, Joey B is coming out. He's going to predict a Bengals victory, and he is going to go down and annihilate the Rams. Joey B is going to go down in the history of NFL football gods, and he's going to be right up there with Joe Namath.
Shut up. No, he's not.
Yes.
Dude.
Bengals.
We've got a house divided right now.
Raul, you got the deciding vote.
You guys are fucking smoking crack up there.
This is so I just want to be clear. This is so much pressure. And I've been waffling until this exact minute. I'll be honest, until this exact moment. My decision is simple. I'm staying with the state of Texas. Matt Stafford and the fucking Rams are going to take it home. Matt Stafford's going to get the long-deserved Super Bowl ring. That defense is going to get it done. I love the Tiger King. Don't get me wrong, but this ain't your fucking year. But I appreciate you. Swag level 1000, Joey Burr, Joe Shiesty, the Tiger King, whatever you want to call him, deserving of all the credit because he's the future of the NFL. But the fucking Rams, this is their year, son. This is their year. It is happening. So 3-2 Rams. I'm curious to see how it turns out. Rocco,
the island of misfit toys.
Yeah,
that's what it is, man.
It really is. It really, really is. And that's kind of LA in a nutshell, to be honest. Like, there's some fucking characters out there.
Yes, there is, bro.
I don't envy you, man. Like, I love living in Texas. I hate the fact that I live so close to Austin, which is like San Francisco, Texas.
He loves Texas until there's like a half inch of snow. And then he's like, fuck this place.
No, then ERCOT's just like,
your whole
shut it down.
Shuts the fuck down.
Yeah, they're just like, shut it down.
The whole
all
state's
of it.
gone.
Nobody.
Oh, God, I just read an article on that this morning talking about, anyways. I ain't got time for all that shit.
Like we had like 14 inches the other day of snow. I just went to work.
We did in Utah as well.
Yeah. I just got up and went to work.
Right. See, but that's the thing, though, is that like your infrastructure is made to build that. Like, dude, our water mains froze. There was nothing we could do about that. Like, I'm serious, bro. Like, they don't exist. We use
they were like, hey, we got our own.
Do you have a gas heater in your house or electric?
Mine's electric.
Electric.
Mine's gas.
Gas. Gas is usually the primary because gas is
usually gas.
Yeah, it's usually gas. Okay, Fling, you're the fucking all right. Apparently, you must have Cricket Wireless too. We got it. No judgment. No judgment. It is what it is. The 1st and the 15th are your favorite days. That's cool.
Whoa,
what happened?
No,
I didn't say. I said 2 days of the month.
And the 15th.
Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. Right? I ain't never been on.
You know what you're saying.
That's weird. No. Anyways, Rocco, I can't thank you enough, man. Just for being just a perfect example of what it takes to be a leader in the veteran community in your own life. man, it was so good to talk to you. I thank you so much for giving us over an hour of your time to talk with us. And I definitely need to link up with you about this boxing episode because we have a lot to talk about there.
Let me
that
know,
alone
man.
is its own episode. But thank you so much for your time. Flint, Gary, Stove, do you guys have anything for the man?
Yeah, we appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Looking forward to see. Like, listen, now when I watch you on Mayans, it's gonna be
real.
It's gonna be a different perspective for you.
It's
real to me, damn it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It's so much more now.
We appreciate your time,
Rocco. What do you have for us, man? Do you have anything you need to plug? What's going on in your life?
No, man, just keep supporting, keep following, man. You know what I mean? That's all it is the more people support, you know, you guys get to see what I'm doing firsthand. Don't forget Mayans is out there. I don't know when season 4 will be out. You know, when they announce it, you'll know all my social media. So just give a follow to those pages, man. I'm on everything you can think of: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That's a weird one, but either way.
Yeah, it is.
I love TikTok.
We're not on it, and that's for a reason. I can't.
Yeah, so just you know, if you guys have any questions, want to talk, whatever it is, man, just hit me up. Like Raul knows, you just message me, I'll answer.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just the level that you're at this point in your life, and just still how accessible you are is definitely the coolest thing. And you have, I mean, to be honest, I think all of us can agree, you have nothing to gain here by joining our podcast as far as your marketing value. Like, we're not going to be much help to your numbers, but man, as far as the impact, I think all of us can agree this is hands down the coolest interview we've ever done. It is amazing to talk to you. We wished you all the best of luck.
Yeah,
and,
we appreciate you, man.
100%, dude.
Thank
and
you.
So, with that being said, we're going to bring the episode to a close. My name's Raul Herrera. I got Gary, I got Stove, I got Flint, and believe it or not, I have Rocco with me. You may know him as Gilly, but that's not his actual fucking name. Episode 96 of Backyard Blitz brought to you by Backyard Sports. We're out. Gang, gang.